Welcome to the Thought Bridge. My name is Brianna, and this is a channel where we are going to dive into a lot of the books that I'm reading and just kind of doing some research on the sources and things that are included in the books, that stuff that I've underlined and wanted to dig deeper on myself. And I figured, why not share all of that? And so we're starting out with Lucid Dreaming, The Power of Being Awake and Aware in Your Dreams, written by Dr. Stephen LeBerg. This is a very scientific approach to lucid dreaming. And he mentions, so what the first thing that we're going to be looking at here is some of Scott Sparrow's work, which I learned a little bit that he's more of a, let's see here, we're going to, so Scott Sparrow turns out to be more of a psychological, spiritual approach. Here, I did this in ChatGPT. Here's Stephen LeBerg with his lucid dreaming stuff. What I searched specifically was lucid dreaming as an evolutionary process by Scott Sparrow, because that's what is mentioned here in Stephen LeBerg's book. He mentions a woman's first lucid dream, and on the night before it took place, she had read a short piece by Scott Sparrow entitled Lucid Dreaming as an Evolutionary Process. And so when I did some digging into that, he does have a lot of work, and I guess that this specific lucid dreaming as an evolutionary process is a chapter in a book, which I forget where I found that, but starting here, the comparison between the two, LeBerg is scientific, how to become lucid, dream control, skill development, and experiments inside dreams, which is fascinating. What they do, they have a whole like a rapid eye movement process to let the researcher know that they are aware that they're in their lucid dream while staying asleep. And so Sparrow here, obviously he has the psychological, spiritual, why lucidity matters, which I think is so important. Even LeBerg talks about how it's imperative for self, what does he say? And he's not the only one, because Freud also obviously is mentioned a lot here. Freud's conception of the dream as the via regia, or the royal road to the unconscious mind. So he's saying here that here's a line from part of the book. Anyone interested in personal growth can hardly afford to ignore the insights derived from a study of his or her own dreams. To reap the fullest harvest from the dream state requires lucidity. In a word, dreams are a must for those interested in self-development, which I'm wondering if that's why I'm so interested in the dream world. It has been my entire existence that I've been fascinated by dreams. And a lot of it started when I was a child. And let me see here. So it actually really started when I was a child, and there's a handful of dreams, but this one dream specifically that I'm in my 30s now, and I probably was 7, 8 years old when I had this dream, and it was so vivid and real that I still to this day remember so much of it. And it's not so much the details of the dream. I remember the feeling of the dream and the emotions that I felt coming out of that dream. So little background, and here's we'll get into the story, I guess, because I had this dream where I was met by some kind of guide, some figure, some person, some energy, whoever they were. When I saw them, I recognized them and remembered them immediately. And I missed them so much. I missed them. And I specifically remember in the dream, it was like panning out, almost like a movie, when I was coming to wake up, because we were under this willow tree, and they were we were sitting down under the tree, and they were like in a position where like looking at me, and I kept saying like, I don't leave me, I don't want to go, don't leave me, I miss you. Like just this whole like I did not want to say goodbye. I woke up sobbing. I was sad the whole next day for weeks. Like to this day, I still am like, where is that person? What is that? And I've had a handful of dreams even after that where it's not necessarily that figure or person that I remember, but I have a handful of dreams where I am with some figure, guide, or whoever they are, and I am just so grateful and thankful to be with them that I do not want to wake up. I'm just like, oh my God, I miss you. Whatever that is, whoever they are, like maybe they're my spirit guide, maybe they're an angel, maybe they're just somebody that I go through lives with and karmic whatever. So that's just, I think that's really what just got me so deep into dream world research, because it felt like it was a way to travel to worlds that I can't be in awake. And I know that there's so many people that do astral traveling in their dreams, which I don't know enough about that. Like I want to do some more research into that kind of thing. So anyways, with that, let's go back into this. So more of the psychological spiritual approach to the lucid dreaming. Because like I said, Stephen LeBergs is extremely scientific, and there's so much research that he references in this book. So I highly recommend, if you want to have more of that scientific approach, his work is incredible. And so I'm brand new to Sparrow's work because I'd never heard of him before. And so I want to get into his work. And so we're going to check out his site, because he has a website and he has some courses. So he mentions here a little bit about this article, short piece that this lady had read before her first lucid dream. And just a little bit, he talks about how the article describes the ordinary dream state as a level where man is still a child. He then compares the development of lucid dreaming to the earlier development of consciousness in primitive humanity, referencing the ego, stressing the importance of taking responsibility of our disowned conflicts, especially for the immature aspects of our personalities. So the woman reading this article, he's saying it made a profound impression on her mind, both conscious and unconscious. He mentions a lot in the book that we have the ability to go into lucid dreaming out of willingness, and obviously anything that you're doing takes practice, like down to the littlest things, everything in life takes practice and repetition. Obviously going into lucid dreaming is going to take practice. And he mentions, and so many people mention, that one of the best ways to kind of master this skill is to keep a dream journal, keep a dream. And one thing I also found fascinating is that if you throughout the day ask yourself, is this a dream? Just consciously asking yourself, is this a dream? Because a lot of the times in your dreams, you have a hard time kind of differentiating between if what you're experiencing is reality, which this isn't, in my opinion, this is not reality. We are in a dream within a dream. I feel like when we're alive, we're actually asleep. And then when you die, you wake up and you remember. Whole other topic that we can get into. But he says throughout your waking state to continuously ask yourself if this is a dream, because those repetitive thoughts and things will show up in your dreams. A lot of your behavioral things are repeated in your dream state because it's just like a matter of practice behavior or whatever. And so asking yourself throughout your waking state, am I dreaming? You can build that muscle, that brain muscle. And then when you actually are dreaming, it becomes a question that you ask yourself, am I dreaming? And then obviously there's other details that he gets into where, things that just don't make sense. Like if you're walking around naked, like obviously you're dreaming, things that just aren't normal where it wouldn't necessarily happen in your waking state. You're dreaming. So back to Sparrow, where we're starting. Okay, so Sparrow's official website here, Dreamstar Institute. So this is where we're gonna go. So this is his website. It lists the books by Scott Sparrow, which awesome. I'm definitely gonna get some of his books. Got a whole community, courses, consults. All right, so let's take a look at this menu about us. Let's see. Okay, so this is interesting. Scott has lectured and taught courses across the U.S. on topics, such topics as meditation, spiritual experiences, and dream work methods. I full-heartedly believe that all of these things are intertwined, go hand in hand. Meditation, spiritual experiences, dream work. I think it really, like LeBerg says, it's for people that are interested in self-development. Like, you have to pay attention to your dreams. And I think anyone that's been drawn here, I think we're all going to be on the same page in that arena. And I'm interested into what you guys know and would like to share. Definitely put some stuff in the comments. Start discussions among yourself, because I'll be reading them. I'm so interested to know what other people know, are willing to share, more things that I can dig a little bit deeper into myself. That would be fantastic. I would love that so much. Let's go to what kind of resources do we get? He's got lots of stuff on his site to go through. There's papers, there's presentations, audio stuff, an interview, spirituality and dreams interview. It looks like he's got a podcast, Dream Work with Dr. Scott Sparrow. That would be so fascinating to listen to. Psychic Playdate podcast. Never heard of that before. How fun. So there's that. And then I also was looking around in here at my chat GPT question, and he has research papers for free that you can look at. So if you're going to here, Greg Scott Sparrow Academia. So again, that was this link right here, Gregory Scott Sparrow on academia.edu. Wow, he's got a lot of work here. I've actually never even heard of academia.edu. So that's pretty cool. I'm probably going to have to sign up for that. But he's got 22 papers in here. He's got some drafts. That's pretty cool. Discerning the ontology of dream characters. Oh, interesting. I don't know what that's really going into, but that to me seems interesting because of the dream that I had with that energy entity, whatever it is that has appeared and come back. Got a book on here, Viewing the Dream as Process, a Key to Effective Dream Work. And he's got some piece. Oh, never mind, nothing in there. I'm signing up for this academia.edu site because who knows what else is in here. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff offered on this site on spiritual practice. Wow, lots of stuff in here. Books and media. This is what I'm gonna want to be looking at. Oh, and it did have the books. It has the academia.com here, so you can actually get to that from this site. He's got interviews here. Obviously, I'm not going to play them here. Whoa. What year is that in? Just kidding. All right. Let's see here. Services. It's got dream consultations, online dream groups. $40 per session. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. This is very cool. So, yes, if you're looking to dig a little bit deeper into dream research, practicing lucid dreaming, things like that, this is a great place to start. Um, I'm excited to watch some of his interviews. I'm definitely going to be buying his books. I'm going to be looking at his stuff on the academia.edu, his papers here. Academia.edu does have a free version, so that's what I signed up for to start. They do have a premium option, which I think would be more beneficial for writers and publishers. If you're doing work, it tells you the different options on, the difference. And I think the free option is plenty good just to get started if for not permanent research for yourself. We are just getting started into what kind of resources are in this book, things that we can dive into together, learn more together. And like I said before, if you know anything about this topic, if you have questions, if you want to just share your experience with your lucid dreaming, things like that, please do so. I would love to start building a community where we are opening minds and possibilities for whoever comes across this, and just creating a space for this conversation to take place. We will be digging into so many other topics, and we are just getting started. This is just the beginning. Another one of my favorite authors of all time is Dolores Cannon. And if you're familiar with her work, then you probably know already that we're going to dive into some very interesting, fun, exciting topics. One of them being aliens. Another is, she does a lot of past life, spiritual work. I read the Nostradamus, Conversations with Nostradamus series. That was insane. And I would love to go back into that and dig a little bit deeper into some of those predictions and conversations. There's a lot of her books that I still have yet to read. And so as that's happening live-ish, we'll be going into that. So yeah, stick around if this is your jam. And thank you for being here. Thank you for spending about, 25, 30 minutes here with me. We'll see what it cuts out to. But these will be more of a long form type video style to start out with. We're going to see how this goes. This is brand new to me. And so, yeah, we're just going to see where this goes. But I'm so glad you're here. And I can't wait to hear what you have to share. I can't wait to see what kind of conversations grow, what seeds are planted with this community. And yeah, thanks for being here. See ya.